All right, we are back as promised. Yes, following the Bears' Super Bowl win on Sunday night in their preseason game. We got to talk to Chicago Bears here, Faraz, because you're a professional. You got to, I wasn't even going to claim this player, but you still got into the doc first, and you got this guy's name on the doc. Tell us about why Odunze, player I've never discussed before, I have no opinion about. You tell me why you think he's going to be a breakout candidate this year.
Oh, man. Listen, I don't know why you're so down on Odunze as a player, man. I really don't. But I will say that they're just, it's one of those player, talented player, bad situation types of things, and why he wasn't a great, rookie, right? And the offensive situation last year was just so bad. I truly believe that he's a good player. And one of the reasons why I know that, Matt, is just simply like I'll look at reception perception, man. I'm like, all right, well, like, how did he actually do? Like, when the stats are down, like, what am I doing? Like, am I seeing the right stuff? Like, I think he's a good player. Like, he looks like he's good. He looks like he belongs. And turns out, like, I was kind of right, and you kind of confirmed my priors there. But I just look at the situation from last year, and I look at the stats, right? I'm looking at Shane Waldron's offense when he was in Seattle, when JSN was drafted. And then I look at his offense when Odunze was drafted, right? And there's so many parallels, dude. It's crazy. 1.37 yards per route run for Odunze, his rookie year, 1.39 for JSN, right? And we all know JSN, what he did in year 2, right? When he moved to a different offense. 19% first read target share for Odunze, 19% for JSN, his rookie year. 17% target share for Odunze, his rookie year, 16% for JSN. And, you look at Ben Johnson coming in now, going from Shane Waldron to Ben Johnson, huge 180, right? Johnson's already talking up Odunze. Like, I don't know if you heard his soliloquy on Odunze a couple weeks ago, talking about his route running, his ability to play X receiver, and all that. And
I heard it, pal. I'm saying it to myself before I go to sleep every night.
So like and from all accounts, like, he is the go-to wide receiver right now in training camp. And you look at Keenan Allen, Keenan Allen low-key commanded a 27% target share last year. That was 14th among all wide receivers. And the connection just wasn't there, between Caleb Williams and Odunze, number one, and number two. Like, I just don't think he was put in the right situations because of the offensive environment. 59 wide receivers ran 400 plus routes last year. Odunze's 61.2% catchable target rate ranked dead last, 59th among those 59 wide receivers. But because the reports are saying that they're building a strong connection, like, if that number just even normalizes, right, it could be huge. So I'm somebody who's back in on Odunze. I think that he is, like, if I had to, like, tell you, like, okay, who do I think is, like, the best pure wide receiver, who has the best, like, alpha potential, I think it's Rome. And I think an OC like Ben Johnson is going to be able to get that out of him. There's a little bit of a trust that I'm putting in here to Ben Johnson, but I do think he can right this ship. And I think Odunze can definitely turn it around and have a huge year too.
Yeah, I mean, you're putting that faith in there to Ben Johnson. A lot of people are as well. Again, putting together these kind of wisdom of the crowd projections. They were 15th there. Like, the Bears are going to have the 15th best offense in the NFL this year. That is definitely a big bump in the wisdom of the crowd, according, like, for Ben Johnson. Like, that's what we're talking about here. But listen, I'm in on this offense. I'm in on Odunze. And look, obviously, Faraz, we're kidding about what Caleb and the Bears offense did in the preseason game. We know the Bills were playing backups. We know that is not, like, indicative of what's going to happen in the regular season. I think they could be an offense that gets off to a little bit of a slow start as everything comes together. But I just love the process, that the way they've talked about, like, they put a bunch on Caleb's plate and then start paring it down to the stuff that he likes. That's exactly what Ben Johnson and these guys did with Jared Goff back in Detroit. So I love that part of it. And I loved a lot of what I saw, again, from a process standpoint of Caleb Williams in that preseason game, where, like, he gets to that third step in the drop and ball is out. He's very decisive. And yes, obviously, again, the defense is a backup defense, but still being decisive and, like, knowing where the reads are versus what type of coverage, like, that was good to see after what we saw as a rookie. So we need to see a lot more, of course, from Caleb to have full trust, and same with Odunze too. But I do think that was a good sign. And also just worth noting the usage too. This is something I'm curious to kind of continue to track. Mike Florio of the NFL Network put this out. Very small sample size, but caught my eye. Each of the two Bears receivers were on the field for all 7 routes of the preseason game. DJ Moore 6 out wide, 1 in the slot. Rome Odunze 4 out wide, 3 in the slot. I would imagine, to me, I thought, because the way they've talked about him, you mentioned Ben Johnson talking him up as that X receiver. I thought Rome would be in the X more than DJ Moore would be because I think that fits Rome's skill set. But we know that Ben wants to get his best players in the positions to succeed. And the fact that if Rome is going to do some slot stuff, which I expect he will, and I expect DJ will be more than 6-1 in terms of that ratio. But that's only more good news for Rome Odunze. But I've talked enough about Odunze, probably to last a lifetime, but certainly in this segment here. I want to talk about Colston Loveland, who's my other pick here. And yeah, I scolded you about rookies and stuff like that. Well, I'm going to cheat here and put a rookie in here as well, because I think this guy is going to be a great fantasy pick this year, man. That's another thing that I took away from that Bears offense in preseason. I think they could lead the league in 12 personnel this year. I think Cole Kmet and Colston Loveland will be on the field a ton together. And Colston Loveland is just so talented. He's a guy that can play multiple positions for this offense. I think they're going to set up layup targets for him. Cole Kmet's going to do the Cole Kmet thing, and we even saw it in the preseason, stretch that seam out a little bit. But the guy that's going to be running these quicker flat routes, yards after the catch, just be the easy button for Caleb Williams, which again, we saw that is going to be Colston Loveland. So to me, if you miss out on Tucker Kraft, the next guy I want you looking at the tight end position is Colston Loveland. I just am very excited about his potential role here. And when there's 2 tight ends on the field, usually one tight end doesn't get a lot of targets. I think that's going to end up being Cole Kmet. One tight end kind of concentrates the targets, and then the wide receivers get a lot more looks on a per route basis. So I actually think our 2 picks here together work in tandem pretty well for what I imagine this Bears offense to look like.
I actually moved Colston Loveland up my ranks a couple of spots, but it's not for the reason that you might think. It's because I've watched his rendition of Let Me Love You in front of the team probably 18 times. I don't know if you've seen it, Matt, but it was extremely impressive. You haven't seen it?
No.
Oh, you got to watch it, dude. No, you got to watch it. It's great. So, like rookies have these showcases, right? And they got to, we saw it, we saw Aiden Hutchinson, have a great version of that. I think Colston Loveland's version wasn't as good, but it was up there. It was great, great rendition. I would highly recommend you checking it out. So I did end up boosting him a little bit in the ranks because of it. My only concern with Loveland here is that when naming the guys in his circle of trust, Ben Johnson did name Cole Kmet, and number 2, he did. He also named Olamide Zaccheaus too, and he ended up scoring a touchdown out of the slot this past weekend.
Olamide Zaccheaus was kind of smoking out there, bro. He looks pretty good.
I will say, I think my one concern for Loveland this season is, will he see the route participation that's required for him to be able to become that top 10 tight end this year, right? We were talking about it earlier. We want to potentially see there it is right there. You kind of pulled it up, guys. Great job with the producers, man. I love it. But yeah, 80% plus, right? That's kind of what you want to see. We're having that same issue in Buffalo with Dalton Kincaid, right? Where, you still have another tight end there who they love to run for whatever reason. They have Dawson Knox running a ton of routes and is preventing Dalton Kincaid from really breaking out and seeing that 80% route participation. He's kind of stuck in this no man's land of 50 to 70%, game in and game out. That's my only concern. But I think Loveland's a great talent, and he's a great route runner. And I think he could, if he gets the role that we want him to get, I think he can absolutely smash. That's just, one concern that I have going into year 1.
Yeah, I totally get it. I think he might be a guy that it takes a minute, it takes a minute for him to really get going there. You might not originally get that, but at some point I do think he's going to be a pretty big factor here for the Chicago Bears offense. And again, when I just look at the other tight ends available in that range, and he goes so late, dude, he goes after, he goes 120, he goes well after the top 15 players of the position. I just think he's a better upside bet than a lot of those guys. And sounds weird to say, famous last words. This is kind of an offense I want to be in on from a fantasy football perspective. When has that ever treated us wrong when we talk about the Chicago Bears before?